Anche, papastem tsikasun, White Horse here, colonized named Jason Big Charles. And today I'm here to share a little bit about some of the knowledge that was passed to me, or the teachings I was given about the difference between sharing circles and talking circles. And I know there's a lot of different teachings out there, and we all come with different teachings around sharing circles and talking circles. So I'm going to share to you the knowledge that was passed to me as it was passed to me, because and my teachings might be different from other people's teachings, but as in order to honor the elders and the knowledge keepers and carriers that I work with, I need to pass on the knowledge that they've passed to me as they've passed it down to me. So, like I said, remember, these teachings might be different from your teachings, or you might have learned things might be different. However, just respect the knowledge that was passed down to me from my knowledge keepers, and hopefully we could learn together and pass some knowledge down. Because within Nihia Uiwin, or within the Cree ways of knowing and Cree lifestyle, I was shared these teachings from a number of different elders and elders that do ceremonies and are very deeply rooted in the spiritualism and the ceremonial practices. And like I said, one of these teachings is around sharing circles and talking circles. So I was taught that sharing circles and talking circles are very different from one another. And I know people use, when they're talking about the circles, they use those names back and forth, sharing circle or talking circle. However, like I said, I was taught that they're very different from each other. So I'll talk about the talking circles first. Now, with talking circles, I was taught that the talking circles are very much ceremonial. So they are a ceremonial circle where ceremonial items are used, and it's usually led by an elder or a knowledge keeper who does know about those ceremonies. And often they'll use a special item for the talking circle, a ceremonial item. This is an example of one of those. This is an example of a talking stick, where it is a ceremonial item. Before we go into a talking circle with them, we usually smudge our talking stick, and everybody smudges. And the main thing with a talking stick, we are taught that when you're sitting in the ceremonial circle with a talking stick, the elder usually begins with a prayer and then talking about what we're going to be talking about in that circle. And the main thing that we're taught when we attend that talking ceremony, or the talking circle ceremony, is that when you're holding the talking stick or whatever ceremonial item is used, you need to be speaking from the heart and not telling lies or not speaking with negativity, but to keep in mind that the items we passed around have been passed down from generation to generation. So we always think about all the hands that are holding that item, that held that item for generations behind us as we are holding it, and to talk to that item as though we were talking to those ancestors, and to be truthful and honest. Now, traditionally with the talking circles, they were really used as a form of truth telling, or finding the truth, getting to true feelings or true thoughts that somebody has. And they've sort of, as after after colonization, it sort of moved, uh, changed the ceremony a little bit, where the ceremony was really used as a form of justice or restorative justice, where elders and knowledge keepers would use the talking ceremonies to get the truth out of somebody. If somebody had broken the law, or done something wrong against someone, and where they were trying to resolve disputes or disagreements, or like I said, a transgression, or an argument, where they would have those people sit in the circle and be truthful about the situation and what they were talking about through the use of the talking stick, or other ceremonial items. Now, when I say other ceremonial items, the other thing that I was taught that was used aside from a talking stick was the swagan, or the pipe. So when there was, say, an alliance, or an agreement between two different parties, they would use a talking circle with a pipe, and they would pass that pipe from holder to holder in the circle, sort of as a way of talking truthfully about a relationship with, say, with another family or another nation, or even with a nation talking to government. They would use that talking ceremony, talking circle ceremony, where they would take turns talking, using the ceremonial pipe, and pass it and say their honest words to one another, making an agreement, or signing a treaty. This is why the pipe was a really important part of those talking circles, because again, with our pipes, we look at them as they're passed from generation to generation, and we always think, when we're holding those pipes, that we think about all those ancestors behind us that also held that pipe and spoke through that pipe. And we always keep in mind that they are listening to us, and we need to be truthful and honest when we're passing that pipe. That's why they were used for agreements and such. So with the talking circle ceremony, they were very, very, very serious ceremonies, and the teachings behind them were, whether you're using the talking stick, or the pipe, the swagan, to use in the talking circle, the number one rule in those ceremonies is that, at the time of the talking circle, the only person who is allowed to talk is the one holding either the talking stick or the pipe. Other than that, nobody else is supposed to be talking, because they're keeping in mind that it's that person's time to talk. It's that person's time to be truthful and open, and really open themselves up to the rest of the people in the circle, while they're holding that talking stick or the pipe. And our pipe ceremonies work very much the same way, where when you're holding that pipe, if you need to say a prayer, or you need to get something off your chest, or talk about something, that's when you talk to it, because we're taught within Nihiawiwin, or within our Cree teachings, that you're really talking to those behind us, or our ancestors, and all those that have gone on before us. You're talking directly with them. So that's the teaching we're given. So you only talk when you're holding the talking stick or the pipe. Other than that, no one else should be talking until the circle comes back, and the stick or the pipe comes back to you for your turn to talk again. So that's the teaching I was given about the talking circle ceremony. Now, with a sharing circle, I was taught that those go very differently, where it's not so much a ceremony. There is no ceremonial object that is used. Some people smudge, some don't. But the whole idea of a sharing circle is that really anybody can lead a sharing circle. And with a sharing circle, it's just that. It's a time to share, sort of in that whole spirit of a talking circle ceremony, but it's more of a time to share the same sort of idea where everybody gets a chance to speak. And with a sharing circle, a lot of people use certain items or different items just to take the place of that talking stick or the pipe. Often I've seen people use a sini or a rock and just pass the rock just to signify that when we're holding that rock, only that person is speaking and sharing at that time. And it's more, like I said, it's not so much as strict as a ceremony. It's more a time to share, sharing thoughts of the day or how somebody is feeling or just a general sharing. But with the sharing circle, because we're not using the ceremonial items or using the smudging or anything, most times anybody can lead a sharing circle. Classroom teacher can lead a sharing circle with their class just to talk about what they were learning about that day or to talk about what they did on the weekend or what have you. But it's just a time to share sort of that not so formal, informal sharing, but it's still a time for everyone to have a voice. It's a time for everyone to respect and listen to the person who is sharing and understand that when they have that rock or whatever item they're using, that just sort of that physical idea that, okay, it's this person's turn to share. It's their time to talk. So that means that it's our time to listen and just show respect to whatever they're talking about. So like I said, that's the biggest difference between the talking circle and the sharing circle. The talking circle was always taught to me anyway that it was a ceremony, a special ceremony that must be respected. There are certain rules that we follow in a talking circle that the elder is leading, and we respect the ceremonial items. Whereas in a sharing circle, it's pretty well open for anybody to do a sharing circle. And it's not so as strict and formal as the talking circle ceremony. So that's the difference between the talking circle, I call it talking circle ceremony, and the sharing circle. Like I said, sharing circle, very informal, where we're just having that item that we pass around just to show everybody in the circle gets a chance to share. And with these circles in Nihiawiwan and in Cree teachings, we are taught we always go in a clockwise direction, following the direction of the rising and setting sun. So we follow that clockwise direction in the circle with both the ceremonial talking circle and the sharing circle. And that's just so that the teaching behind the whole going clockwise and following that direction of the sun's path is drawing in that positive energy so that good things happen from either the talking circle ceremony or the sharing circle. And we're just drawing in that good energy, that good healing, positive thoughts or actions or speaking within those circles as we're doing the ceremony or the sharing circle. So that's the difference between the talking circle ceremony and the sharing circle within the teachings that were passed down to me anyway. And like I said, maybe you have different teachings. I respect that. And I also ask to respect the teachings that I receive from the elders that I've worked with. It's all about mutual respect and just learning from each other. So I hope you learned something today. Uksamaga.